And our final speaker today is from Celbridge in County Kildare. He is a fully qualified personal trainer, loves sports, especially football. He's 27 and was diagnosed with focal epilepsy at the age of 18. He suffers complex partial seizures. He's a former student of Brainwave's Training for Success course in Sligo as well at the Sligo Institute of Technology. Please put your hands together for Colm O'Connor.
Thank you very much, Rick. Hello to you all. I had my first seizure when I was 16 years of age, but as Rick said, I wasn't diagnosed until I was 18. There were several tests done throughout the 2 years, and it was considered that my epilepsy was located in the right temporal lobe of my brain, but they couldn't pinpoint exactly where it was. My neurologist at the time was Dr. Donnacha McCabe, and he introduced me to Brainwave. Now, I wasn't sure about epilepsy in its fullest extent, so we set up a meeting with Brainwave's guidance counsellor, and I'm happy to say that she explained to me in full about what epilepsy was, and she said to me I had two options: whether I let epilepsy get on top of me, or whether I go on with my life and let's see where we go. So I chose the second option. So I went into third level education, and I went into my love of all, sports coaching. At the end of the course, I got qualifications in soccer, Gaelic, basketball, volleyball, orienteering, canoeing. I also went on then to a leisure management diploma, where I also, like Owen, got a lifeguard qualification with Irish Water Safety. Now, I wasn't sure that Irish Water Safety would allow a person with epilepsy to do a qualification in lifeguarding, because I was told that you shouldn't be a lifeguard if you have epilepsy. But that was not the case. They allowed me to do the course, and I had no problem with it, because as everyone else in my class, I was as good as anyone else. Epilepsy was not going to be a factor in dividing me. There was no stereotyping. All my classmates really wouldn't even notice that I had epilepsy. After my leisure management diploma, I went to the University of Limerick, and I completed the National Certificate in Exercise and Fitness. After my completion, I went into the monitoring unit for 17 days in Beaumont Hospital. I met some amazing people with several different types of epilepsy, and we learned a lot from each other. Now, I know my triggers are overexertion, lack of sleep, and stress. So, thank God they had an exercise bike there in. So, I just went as fast as I could for 45 minutes flat on the day, and I had 2 seizures on the day. So, lucky enough they let me out. I then applied for a job as a fitness instructor in Dublin, and lucky enough I successfully achieved the position. I waited until a week into my job to tell my boss about epilepsy and that I had focal epilepsy. He was unsure at first because he didn't really know what epilepsy was. He felt that tonic-clonic seizures were the only type of seizures that you could have, but that was not the case. I told him that I had complex partial seizures were the type, and focal epilepsy was my situation. Now, he could see, after I showed him videos on my phone of me having a seizure, that I would not be a liability to my customers, my colleagues, or to the company. During the 2.5 years, I upgraded to a fully qualified personal trainer in the University of Limerick. But at the end of the 2.5 years, my decision to finish was because my main aim was now to control my epilepsy. I had meetings with my 2 neurologists, one in Tala and one in Beaumont, Dr. Norman Delante, and they gave me 2 options. They said, you can either see if you're capable of having surgery, or you can just continue on your medication. If you continue on your medication, you'll have a 5% chance of being seizure free. Or if you go for the surgery, you'll have a 75% chance. So, of course, I was very much that I would always go in the positive. So I went for the WADA test and I passed first time, no problem. Now, I went back to Dr. Delante and to Donegal O'Brien, and they told me that there was a year until my surgery would go ahead. So I discussed training for success with them. Now, they thought it was a fantastic idea to go to training for success for the year and then come back and see where I would be in the waiting list. So I went down to IT Sligo. I went and I got my position on the course. Now, for any of you that don't know what Training for Success is, Training for Success is the only course of its kind in Europe. It aims to help people with epilepsy to identify their own personal goals and plan to achieve them, build confidence and self-esteem, decide upon the career of their choice, and learn about the nature and management of epilepsy. Now, I'm happy to say that I met some fantastic people on Training for Success, and I'm still in touch with a lot of them, including my girlfriend here today, Natasha, so Scarlett now, but I said I'd have to get it out there. But as I say, I'm happy to say that we both graduated Training for Success, and when I came back to Dublin, I had meetings with Donegal O'Brien about surgery, and he said it would happen within 4 months. Now, 2 programs were very helpful when it came to surgery, and I can see Mairead Kavanagh now having a look up at me. So Life with Epilepsy was one, so I know how successful Mairead was, and Owen Marr, and he's a very dedicated person that he would never give up, just like myself. Surgeons was another very beneficial one, because I seen Donegal O'Brien at work and how the process of the surgery and everything would it go, the means, the build up to it. Now, for some people it was not the right thing because they didn't want to see the process of surgery, but that's not the case with me. I had to see what was going to happen, but I have to say I had no problem, because if I was going to control my epilepsy, then I would go to whatever lengths necessary. So on the February of this year, I had brain surgery in Beaumont, and thank God nobody here has noticed which side of the brain it happened on, because as I say, the Beaumont team, the neurosurgical team and the Adams McConnell ward are fantastic at what they do, and as you can see, I've had no side effects whatsoever, and I owe them a lot. So as to Rick O'Shea for what he's done in relation to Brainwave, it's been an amazing thing. So fair play to him, and fair play to Mairead and the rest of the people with epilepsy who are going towards trying to control and aim to prevent the stigma that is attached to it. Thank you very much.